Hello dear viewers, my name is Dr. Mohmad Pandit, Assistant Professor at the English Department, Institute of Aeronautical Engineering, Hyderabad. In this video lecture, I will deliberate on the most basic topic. In fact, it is so common that you will find it in every setting, whether it's a professional setting or in any private setting. That is leaflets. Here in this video lecture, you will come to know what's leaflet, what are the different types of leaflets, and at the end, how to design a leaflet. That's the most important thing. Here, to start with the definition. What's leaflet? A leaflet, it's a printed sheet or booklet that provides information about anything or about a particular topic. The first and the foremost thing is that this leaflet, it's a printed sheet, or it can be a booklet, and its primary purpose is to inform. Its primary purpose is to provide information about a particular topic or about a particular situation. To make it more explicit, we can say that a leaflet is a printed and often folded sheet of paper. It's a piece of paper, or you can say it's a printed piece of paper. Or to make it more explicit, you can say that it's a printed at the same time folded sheet of paper, which is designed to be handed out to the people, either by hand or by post, inserted in the newspaper for distribution to grab their attention. Again, this leaflet, it's a printed at the same time folded piece of paper that contains information on any topic. And we often distribute these leaflets either by hand or by post, or simply sometimes we insert these leaflets in the newspaper so as to bring information to our audience, and that to the targeted audience. Here we have the question arises, why we write a leaflet? What is the purpose of leaflet? It has some common basic purpose. The first and the foremost is, through these leaflets, we provide information, or we give information, or we just inform our targeted audience. That's why we say we use these leaflets for the communication purpose, or simply we just communicate information through leaflets. And this information, it can be about anything. It can be about a company, it can be about an organization, it can be about a school, it can be about a private institute. The basic thing is that we provide information, or we communicate through these leaflets. And the second important thing is that we use these leaflets for advertisement purpose. That means the business purpose. Sometimes we mention or we display both classified advertisements and display advertisement through these leaflets. Therefore, the leaflets, they are important when it comes to the business, because through these leaflets we can propagate, or we can bring information, or we can send information to our audience, that too in a very cheaper way, because these are not usually costly. That's why we often use these leaflets for advertisement purpose or the business purpose. And the next one is that sometimes we use these leaflets for awareness and education. That's very important. It's not that we always use these leaflets for business purpose. Sometimes we use these leaflets in order to aware people, in order to educate people. And the last, but not the least one, that is, here, these leaflets, we just provoke the audience for an action. That's why we call it direct response. We write these leaflets with the intention that the audience might respond. In fact, through these leaflets, we provoke our audience, so we provoke them for a response. That's why the leaflets, it demands a response from the audience, a call to action. The leaflets, we write these leaflets with a purpose that our audience must respond. That's very important point about these leaflets. Now the next one, types of leaflets. We have different types of leaflets. For example, we have single sheet leaflet. As the word suggests, a single sheet. Here we have only one sheet of paper. That's why we call it a single piece of paper, often used for simple announcements or promotions. It can be printed on both sides and is usually folded or left flat. Here the word single sheet, it means that we make use of only one sheet. And here we give the basic information about a particular topic or about a particular thing. They are not much comprehensive ones. They are simple ones. They carry the basic information about a thing. And sometimes we fold it, or at times we left it flat. But it always carries a single sheet. And then we have the next one, that's the bifold leaflets. A single sheet of paper folded in half, creating 4 panels, 2 on each side. This format is commonly used for brochures and flyers. Now there is this next one, that's the bifold leaflet. Actually, the bifold leaflet, it's a single sheet of a paper, but we folded it in half so as to create 4 panels. And then we use these 4 panels for different purpose. That means each panel carries different information, sometimes the graphics, sometimes the visuals, and sometimes the mere text. But we use all the 4 panels. And the next one is trifold leaflet. As the word tri suggests that there must be the 3. A sheet of paper folded into 3 sections, usually with 2 folds creating 3 vertical panels. Again, there's a sheet, and that sheet we folded it into 3 sections in order to create different vertical panels. And then we have the next one, that is the Z-fold leaflet. Similar to trifold, but the folds are staggered like the letter Z. This creates a leaflet with 3 panels, that fold in an accordion-like style. Here again, we have it's like a trifold sheet, but here, when we fold a sheet, it creates a picture or it creates a shape of Z. That's why we often call it zifold leaflets. And then we have the gatefold leaflet. This has two end panels that fold inward to meet at the center, resembling a gate. When up, it reveals a larger center panel. Again, as the word suggests, the gate. Here, this has a two-end panel. And that fold inward. We folded these two panels inward so as to create a shape of gate. That's why we call it gatefold leaflet. When we fold the panel inwards, they create an impression or a shape of a gate. That's why we call it gatefold leaflet. And the next one is the accordion fold leaflet. This leaflet has multiple parallel folds that create zigzag patterns and resembling an accordion. Now again here we have this another one. It carries the different folds. That's why we also sometimes call it the zigzag leaflet, because it carries the different zigzag patterns. These were some common types of leaflets. But the most important one is designing of a leaflet. How we should design a leaflet. And here, every leaflet has its own design. Single sheet leaflet, bifold leaflet has its own design. But here we are talking about design in general. That means these are the elements which we find in every leaflet. These are some common things which we find in every leaflet, whether it's a single sheet leaflet, it's bifold leaflet, it's zigzag leaflet. We find these things in every leaflet. Here, the first one is the header or title. We often provide this header or title with slogans or punchlines. And the second one is the tagline or subtitle. And this title or the heading or the caption, it's followed by tagline, it's followed by subtitle. Later on, we will take these points one by one. And the next one is the visual or graphics. Here we make use of different visuals, graphics, drawings, etc. And the next one, it's followed by introduction and then call for action and contact information for further details, and at the end we put legal information if applicable. Now we will take these components one by one. First and foremost is header or title or caption. This title, it must be apt and appropriate. First, the title must be brief, to the point. At the same time, it must be apt and appropriate. It should be relevant to the subject matter. It should be relevant to the text. That's why we say it should be apt and appropriate title. And the second important point is attractive and catchy. Title must be attractive, it must be catchy. It should draw the attention of the audience. It should draw the attention of the readers. That means title should be so that everyone should feel curious to know about the subject matter, about the topic. That's why we say it must be attractive and catchy. And the next one is, we often use, along with this title or the header, we use the punchlines or slogans. punchlines and slogans, there are the difference. For example, when we say the punchline is something which can change with the passage of time. But the slogans, they don't change, they often remain permanent. For example, every company carries a slogan. Therefore, the slogans, they don't change. Punchlines often change with the passage of time. And we can use these punchlines or slogans along with the header or the title. For example, we can say like this, shop the best deals of the season. Here again, this it can act as a punchline. For example, you are publishing a leaflet of your shop and you own, for example, a cloth house and you want a huge purchase. For that matter, you can select this line, this punchline like shop the best deals of the season. Or if you have any tech company, you can write this punchline, upgrade your tech experience, the future today. Here we can use this imperative sentences, imperative language. We can use so as to attract the audience, so as to attract the purchaser. Now here, another important point about this title is the font size. That means the bold and prominent ensure it stands out. Title, it must be bold, it must be prominent so that it can stand out from the rest of the text. So that it can be easily seen by the audience. That's why we put the bold title and so as to make it prominent. And the next one is the large font size. Compared to other text, the emphasis importance. Here, its font size is is usually larger from the rest of the text. Why? Because here we want to make it prominent. That's why we put this heading, this header or the title in bold letters or with a larger font size. And this header and the title, it's followed by subtitle or tagline. And here below the header or alongside the visual, what we do below, that means the byline. Byline of our leaflet must be subtitle or tagline. And what we do, we put this subtitle or tagline below the header, below the caption, below the title, or along the visual. Sometimes we provide a visual in a leaflet, and along the visual we write a byline. But this byline, it should follow the heading, it should follow the caption. And the next thing about this subtitle or the tagline is a brief description or slogan that provides more context. We often provide this subline, we often provide this subtitle or the tagline with the brief description or slogan that provide more context. That is, in other words, we can say that this subtitle or this tagline, it is just the description of the header. It is just the description of the title. It is just the description of the main topic. Or you can say in subtitle, in taglines, we just describe the title, make it more explicit. And here, the next point about this subtitle is slightly smaller than the title, but still noticeable. That's very important. The subtitle, its font size, it's smaller than the header, it's smaller than the title. But it should not be so small that the audience fail to see it or recognize it. Yes, of course, comparatively, it is smaller than the header, it's smaller than the main title. But it should not be too small, because this is the second important line in our leaflet. That's why we say slightly smaller than the title, but it should be so that everyone can notice it. Okay, the next important point is the visual or graphic. We put this visual at the center of a leaflet or upper half of the front cover. It has no hard and fast rule. But usually what we do, we put this visual, this picture, it can be a picture, it can be a graphic, it can be a photo, we put it at the center of a leaflet or upper half of the front cover. But the important point is why we put these pictures, these graphics in leaflets. It has a simple reason to make it more attractive, to make it visually more attractive, so that everyone reads it, so that it can develop a curiosity among the audience for this leaflet. That's why we put these pictures, graphics, photos in leaflets, so as to make it more attractive, that too visually more attractive. And the next important thing about these visuals and the graphics is high quality image or graphic that relates to the leaflet's purpose. These graphics or these images, they must be high quality, and they should relate to the main motif, main theme of the leaflet. That is the important point to understand. If you are providing a picture or a photo or a graph in a leaflet, that picture, that graph, that photo, it should align with the motif of the leaflet. That means that both the picture and the text of the leaflet must talk about the same thing. And the next important point is attracts attention and visually represents the content. In fact, these visuals, these graphics, they visually provide the content of the leaflet. They talk about nothing except the content or the motif or the theme of a leaflet. That's why it's very important. And the next one is this visual, this graphic, it must be followed by the introduction. Here, what we do in this introduction, just first one is, we put this on the upper portion of the panel. That means we start the text of the panel with this introduction. And here, a brief introduction or overview of what the leaflet covers. Here, in this introduction, we just mention the overview of what the leaflet carries. That means we put every point, every theme and the motif of leaflet in nutshell, in few lines. And here, but it must be easy to read and slightly larger for emphasis. That's very important. Here, we don't use verbose. In fact, we use easy language. And we vary our language, or we change our language according to the audience. For example, if it is for a layman, if it is for a common people, then we have to use simple, lucid and clear language. That's why here it should be easy to read and it should follow all the grammatical rules. And the next one is sets the stage for the detailed information inside. And this is the first part, this introduction, it actually sets the stage for the rest of the leaflets. It just introduces the subjects, or in other words, you can say that it sets the stage for the rest of the leaflet. That means from the introduction we come to know what will be the next. And the next one is this introduction. After introducing the subject, we can write the features, we can write the benefits, we can write the important points, and while writing these things, we need to put these things in bullet points or in short paragraphs, so as to make everything clear. And the next, it's all about the introduction, and it is followed by call for action. This is the most important thing, this call for action. Here, we write this leaflet in a way that it directly or indirectly provokes the audience for an action. That's here why we say the prominent position often near the contact information. What is the position, the place of this call for action? It's a prominent position often near the contact information. That means first we put call for action, and then after that we put contact information. And in this call for action, we just provoke, we just incite the targeted audience for their response. That means we write these leaflets in a way that demands the response from the audience. That's why we call it call for action. And the next important point is the encouragement to take action. As I told you, for example, call us today or visit our website for more details. We write these imperative sentences, we write these exclamatory sentences so that we can get response from the audience. And here the highlighted or in a contrasting color stand out. And we often write these things, this call for action, either we write in for example, in different colors, or sometimes we highlight these things, or sometimes we put this information in circle, or sometimes we put this information in rectangular boxes, so as to make it prominent, so as to make it more and more explicit. And or simply we just highlight this. We just want to highlight this. That's why highlighted or in a contrasting color to stand out. First of all, we write these things. For example, if it is like call us today, we put it like a circle so as to highlight it, or sometimes we write it in different contrasting colors so that it can stand out from the rest of the text. For example, if the rest of the text is written in blue, we write that call for action in red color so that it can stand out from the rest of the text. And the next one, it's followed by contact information. We provide this contact information upper or the central portion of the back cover. That means we put this contact information at the last panel. For example, if it is bifold leaflet, we put it on fourth sheet. That means the fourth page. That means the last page or the back page of a leaflet. Here, what we do, first of all, look at the place. Our place is upper or central portion of the black cover. That means we put this contact information at the last page. And the second one is, what we do in contact information, which kind of information we put in this contact information. First one is, we give our phone number for further contact or for further information. And the second one is, we provide email address. Or sometimes we give the website and physical address if applicable. Sometimes we just give the physical address. And very often we put our emails also for further contact. And the next one is clear and legible, with icons for phone, email, and web if desired. Yes, we give this, we provide icons. Sometimes we just give the picture or the graphics of the icons. For example, the phone icon, email, web, if it is desired. But it should be the clear and legible. That means it can be understood by everyone. It should not be ambiguous, or it should not carry the ambiguity. It should be clear. It should be more explicit. That's why we can provide this information. Sometimes we give emails, and sometimes we just write the physical address. That means the name of place where we belong. And the next important point is social media links, lower portion of the back cover. And we often provide these social media links at the end of this last page. That means lower portion of back cover. Lower portion. For example, if it is a back cover, it's the last panel of our leaflet. We provide it here at the end. And here one more thing is that icons and handles for social media platforms if relevant. We can provide these things if it is relevant. If it's not relevant, if it's not important, we can skip it. But while writing this address for further information or for further contact, our address must be holistic. Our address must carry each and everything. It should be self-sufficient. It should not lack in any way. And the next one is the simple icons for visual appeal and easy recognition. That's very important. Here, while providing different icons, our icons must be simple so that it can be easily recognized. And after that, we give legal information, or we write legal information, or we provide legal information if applicable. If you think that your content is important, that you want to create a kind of patent on the content, then you can then you can write this legal information. Here, small print at the bottom of back cover. We put, for example, if it's a back panel, and this is the lower portion of back panel, what we do, we put this legal information at the end of this back panel. And here, once again, we provide this legal information in small prints or in small letters. Or its font size is so small that it's not usually visualized easily. That's why we provide it in small letters or sometimes in small fonts. Any disclaimer or legal text. Here we can provide a disclaimer or any legal text. And here one more thing, font size must be small but legible. That means font size must be so small, it as compared to the rest of the text, it must be small, but at the same time, it should be legible. That means it should be like it should be easily visualized. That's very important. And this legal information, it's optional. If you find your content is very important, or you want to create a kind of patent on your content, then you can provide this legal information. But we provide this legal information at the end of the page. That means below everything, or at the bottom of back cover. And its font size is small as compared to the rest of the text. Here we change our font size, and that's very important to understand. We change our font size according to the importance of the subject. If we find that something, some line or some subject is very important, we write that subject or that line in a bigger font. And if we think that some line or the subject, it's not so important, we write that subject or that line in a smaller font. That's why this font size, it varies according to the importance of the subject matter. And now here we have an example of leaflet, and this is layout for bifold leaflet format. This is the format of bifold leaflet. Now this is the first cover. Here this is the first cover. In the first cover, we just write the title and heading. We write it at the center of a page. That means we left equal margins on the both sides of the page. In other words, we write it at the center of a page. And as I told you that this title, remember this is the first page of a leaflet. Or you can say this is the first panel. One panel. In first panel, or you can say the front cover. We sometimes call it front cover. And what is this front cover? This is the first panel of a leaflet. Here we are talking about bifold leaflet. Here we give a title, and this title, we put this title at the center of a leaflet or the center of a panel. And this title, as I told you, that it must be the catchy, it must be it must carry eye-catching image. Or sometimes we write a tag or tagline or the subtitle in this very page, in this very panel. And this is the first page of a leaflet. It carries a title, or you can call it caption or heading, and then it carries eye-catching image. And the next thing that it carries is a tagline or subtitle. Now, this is the second page or the second panel of bifold leaflet, or we sometimes call it inside left panel. It's inside but left panel. And it carries introduction and welcome address. And here we write or we put the key points like key point 1, key point 2, key point 3. And thereafter, we can provide supporting visuals. Visuals that can support our text. This is the second page, or you can say it's the second panel, or you can say it's the inside left panel. And it carries welcome address, it carries introduction and the key points like 1, 2, 3 and 4. And then after the key points, we can provide or we can write or we can give a visual that will support our text. And the next one is the inside right panel. This is the third page, and we call it inside right panel. And here we give detailed information, and we divide this panel, inside right panel, into different sections like section 1 and section 2. And when we change these sections, we change it according to the themes. For example, in section 1, I'm writing about a particular theme. Now I have to change the theme. I want to introduce a second theme. Therefore, I have to change the section. Like here, section 1 and section 2. Here, in this inside right panel, that means the third page of our leaflet, we give the detailed information. And here we divide the information in sections like section 1 and section 2. After section 2, we can give another visual. That means additional visuals. Because these visuals, they are so important, because these visuals, they support our text. They support our written text. And here we sometimes give the testimonials, and it's optional. Now the next one, that means the back cover. The back cover or the last page. Here we give the contact information. Like here, we give the phone number, and then we write the email, then we write the website, and then we write the social media icons if there are different icons, and then optional city, it is optional, and at the end, at the last, we provide legal information. But here, the font size of these things, they vary from the last one. Here, we write this contact information in bigger font size as compared to the last one, that is the legal information. This is the how we provide the contact. This contact, it must be in a logical order. Like here, first of all, we give our phone number, then it's followed by email, then website, then social media icons we can provide. And at the end, we just write the legal information or for any copyright act. It was all about the leaflets. Here are the books for further reading. Hope you have understood it. We will meet in the next video with the next topic. Till then, goodbye.
Like, share and subscribe. Hit the bell icon for more updates.